continue doing what is right. Continue making the people understand. If not all of them, at least majority of them will know that we are doing the right thing. I'm not going to be your mayor forever. I am not going to be your councilor or your congressman or your servant leader forever. I want that our town, our district, our province will be governed by responsible leaders that will to serve on the heart of a Filipino. Where the people benefit from their own money, I believe deep in my heart that I can effect those positive changes that the people want. Whereby we know how to listen to the people, consultative leadership, democratic leadership, participative leadership. I risk my political career to run against a 27-year-old. I'm still strong to serve our country. So I offered myself to become a congressman of second district. Strong in mind, in spirit, and body.
The way he listens to the voices of the people, and that's what makes him unique. A leader,
a legend, and the man behind the badge.
In the very first episode of our vlog, we are honored to have the one and only general, a statesman, and former mayor of Lingayen, Mayor Leopoldo N. Batawi. From politics to personal growth, he will take us on a journey that will inspire, motivate, and maybe even surprise you. So sit back, relax, and get ready to know the real Leopoldo N. Batawi. It's nice to finally meet you, Mr. Mayor. How are you feeling today? Kamusta po kayo sa maulan, maaraw na panahon?
Opo, sa katunayan, sa maulan, maaraw, at saka floody, na tiyempo, nandito po tayo ngayon sa by the beach, Lingayen Baywalk, upang somehow maramdaman din natin yung damdamin ng taong bayan sa mga panahon na ito.
Thank you, sir. To officially start, let's get to know the real you, Mr. Mayor. What makes you, Leopoldo, unique? Would you mind taking us on a journey into your life beyond politics and leadership?
Yes, actually, noong kabataan pa natin, ay naging way of life natin yung salamuha sa taong bayan. Somehow ay naramdaman natin yung damdamin ng ating mga kababayan, particularly in my home barangay. From elementary to high school, where I attended, right here, dito ako lumaki, dito ako nakapag-aral, at dito ko natutunan yung kung paano taong bayan, no? So, at early age, pati yung mga magulang ko, my father was a retired school teacher. My mother was also a teacher of her own right, being a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education. But she did not have a chance to teach formally in school, no? But I consider her as the best teacher in the world. Kahit na hindi siya nakapagturo, kasi she devoted much time and effort in teaching us the basics of life, good manners and right conduct, so to speak, no? And from there on, I was able to assimilate some kind of positive attitude towards public service. And my father used to tell me about his brother who graduated, who is supposed to graduate at PMA, Philippine Military Academy, in 1943. But inabutan ng giyera sila noong araw. Kaya yung buong batch nila ay dinala from Baguio City to Bataan, and his body was never recovered. His name was Third Lieutenant Leopoldo de Guzman Batawil. Noong pinanganak ako noong 1943,
53.
yes, ipinangalan ako sa uncle ko na yon. Kaya ang pangalan ko ay Leopoldo Nalupa Batawil in honor of that PMA class of 1943 who died in Bataan. And I went through the ladder of my career, my profession. Kasi parang sinundan ko rin yung yapak niya eh. So, I wanted to become a professional military officer like him, you know, whom I considered as a hero of our land. Kasi it's extreme sacrifice to offer your life so that others may live during that time when we were invaded by invading forces, no? So, I became a PMA graduate of 1976. And from 1976, immediately, I obeyed legal orders. I went to Mindanao when there was tremendous conflict. The day when we almost lost that part of our country, Mindanao, I was there. And I have contributed to the preservation of our republic. That was 1976. And I served as a provincial director of Negros Occidental, and then later as a provincial director of our very own province of Pangasinan. But in the process, I tried my very best to upgrade my learning capacity. Ano po ito? Ito po yung after garnering Bachelor of Science degree, I took my masteral degree. MBA graduate po ako, where I got my diploma in the Bicol University, no? Where I marched with the other graduates. Some of them belong to some agencies of government. And then I went back to different assignments. And then when I had the opportunity to learn some more, no, I enrolled in a PASA, doctoral degree in Peace and Security Administration, where I also graduated as a doctoral degree holder. And that was when I got the diploma in the Bicol University. Let me just get back in time. Yung MBA ko, I was able to get it at St. Paul University in Tugigaraw City. No? Yun ang MBA ko. Pero yung doctoral degree ko
PhD.
was at Bicol University. Yun, so that is the situation. So when I retired from the Philippine National Police, ang feeling ko, prepared talaga ko to serve in the next phase of my life. What is the next phase of my life? I was still then 56 years old when I retired from the service, 2009 eh. And I was strong in mind, in spirit, and body. Plus, academically, prepared ako. I had my MBA, I had my PhD. So, sabi ko, I offered myself to the people of the 2nd District of Pangasinan. When I offered myself to the people of the 2nd District of Pangasinan, my wife was not for it. The truth. My wife, Gina, wanted me to retire and devote quality time with the family.
Yes.
That's a natural tendency, no, ng
Somehow
family.
it's complicated po, no?
That complicated matters. But here I am, still strong in mind, in spirit, and physical and moral, no? I'm still strong to serve our country. So I offered myself to become a congressman of second district, against 6 others. 7 kami na naglaban-laban eh. And God's will ito eh, na I was able to win over them, all of them, no? Who are the edge, actually, who are the edge of public service, of governance. So, I became your congressman in the 15th Congress, in the 16th Congress,
17.
and in the 17th Congress. So, all of the 3 Congresses, I was able to win over my opponents. But on my third term, I ran unopposed. Somehow, people or my opponents recognize my leadership. And to me, that is a trophy points, no? Na unopposed ka on your third term, meaning to say that you somehow earned the people's trust and confidence.
Yes.
Hindi ba? Ganon ang feeling ko that I ran unopposed on my third term. When I graduated, there was a clamor of the people of Lingayen to be the mayor of this town. So, my family again said, tama na. You're already a graduate of Congress. No? So, ako naman, I listened to my family. I listened to the people. And my wife said, let us look for signs. If you're meant to be a mayor of Lingayen, and if you are going to be, or to defeat that 27-year
Reign.
dynasty or something, no? Kasi husband, wife, husband namatay yung husband, wife na naman. So, all in all, 27 years of governance here. And the people were clamoring for change. There was somehow a groundswell. And in that groundswell, which I read in my mind and in my heart, I risked my political career to run against a 27-year-old governance. And people trusted me with overwhelming votes. So I governed as your mayor in 2019. And if I may go through it, tuloy-tuloy ko na, because some of your concerns might be answered as we go along. No? In 2019, when I became your mayor, I consulted the people. But even before that, while I was campaigning in the 32 barangays, I already took note of some concerns. Maybe you can interject from there.
What are those concern po na napansin niyo po sa barangay habang nag-campaign po kayo that time?
Yes, the concerns are many LGUs around the second district, around Pangasinan, around the Philippines, were already developing and developed as well, no? And the feeling of the people is that
Left behind.
napag-iiwanan ang Lingayen. And yet, it is the capital town of this great province of Pangasinan. So, I listened to the people, to the people's clamor. Even during campaign period, nakikinig ako sa mga suggestions nila. They wanted the rule of law to prevail. No? They wanted some positive changes. Sabi ko, having been a former congressman, I believe deep in my heart that I can effect those positive changes that the people want. Yun ang kagandahan ng leadership natin, whereby we know how to listen to the people.
Yes.
Consultative leadership, democratic leadership, participative leadership. So, in these three areas of leadership qualities, hindi na pag-iiwanan ng tao. But in my decision making, they are part of my decision making. And by the way, if I may add, wala akong tinanggal ng mga department heads during my term. As your mayor of Lingayen, wala akong tinanggal. All of them, I retained them. To ask permission to be relieved. I offered pa nga to remain on post. But I am supportive naman sa greener pasture. Sa greener pasture. If I know that an individual wanted to move up, to improve his or her career, I support. So, kung magpanamang isa sa kanila na for a greener pasture, I immediately approve and support it and endorse with some guidance, of course. And then when another one wanted to go back to academy sa PSU at nagturo doon kasi dating professor I also endorsed and also supported the decision to go back to the academy. When she passed away, nalungkot ako kasi I know the potential of the lady. I visited the way. The rest is history.
So, upon the leadership style or approach that you said po as a leader, is there a personal upbringing or past experiences that shape this leadership philosophy?
Yes. In this kind of governance, the positive things that I can share, no, is going back to that dictum of mine, which is you should learn how to listen to the people, consult the people, participate with them, and in a democratic manner, you make a decision. I learned that the people wanted some kind of image upbringing, upliftment of Lingayen. Na pag-iiwanan ang feelings nila. So, ang sabi ko, we can do that. Number one, doon mismo sa yung mga doable things, what can we do as a mayor? Sa plaza mo mismo, because every day of your life, doon ka. Sa plaza at saka sa opisina mo, sa opisina.
Show window.
Show window yan People who wanted to see the mayor or wanted to ask for service, munisipyo ba?
Yes.
Sa plaza, munisipyo. Plaza, munisipyo. The market is another one. The market. The church is another one. We are predominantly Catholic. Di ba?
Yes.
And the other churches as well. So, on that note, sabi ko, these are the things that we need to uplift. But, of course, things that we can only do. So you have seen how we transform our office, how we transform our plaza, and how we maintain the upkeep in the market. And with its limited resources, we were able to do just that. But do you know that we were hampered by some realities? What are these realities? Do you know that our town is beset with loan? May utang ang bayan natin. Nung ako ay mag-mayor for the first time, tiningnan ko kagad yung financial capability ng ating bayan.
12 MB yata yun, sir.
I saw that there was some kind of loan. Sabi ko doon sa local finance committee, let's pay up the loan. Let us not loan, let us not make any credit if we don't pay up the loan. Or even if We have paid up the loan. Let's continue doing what is good for the town. And you know what? We were able to pay as much as 12 million in loan, no? But after paying the loan, I tried to look for ways and means on how I can help our town by not resorting to loan. And to this day, to that date, when I turned over our administration on June 30, 2025, positive pa ang ating financial status. Do you know na mayroon pang 10 million worth of project which will be done by
The income.
senator somewhere in central government. And then another 25 million for the roofing of the Agri-Aqua building. And then mayroon pang mga deposits in the amount of something like 50 million. So, and many more, many more. So, I need not enumerate the projects that we have undertaken for Apilapita. But one thing for sure is that is the will of the people. The people wanted this, okay. And that, okay. And then, okay. So, I try to look for ways and means. If the local finance committee cannot afford it, I look for funds somewhere else.
So, as was stated by Mayor Leopoldo Matawin, so their goals and platforms for the city is already accomplished as what we can see from the plaza before as to how it is right now. And there's also the museum that we can visit, the Banaan Museum. So, sir, can you tell is this experience of yours is either uplifting or challenging?
These are both challenging and uplifting. The transformation of our plaza to what it is today. One governor once said, no, na you will know that you are already in Lingayen even if you are sleeping. For whatever reason, I did not specify. No? So, with that as a baseline, sabi ko, we have to do something about our town. And now, we divided the plaza into 4 quadrants. What is this quadrant? We have the children's part.
Yes.
We have the Balikbayan part.
Yes.
We have the business part. We have the pet part.
Yes.
Kung mahilig kayo sa aso pusa, pwede kayo doon. So, these are divided into 4 quadrants. And further west is the Lingayen Civic Center, which we erected during our time. The Lingayen Civic Center is also the voice of the people young. When I was campaigning in 2019, it rained so hard. Ang lakas ng ulan. You were still small kids. No?
Bumaha.
Where were you?
I was behind the stage.
Yes. Bumaha. Umulan. Hindi tumitigil. Hindi na ako nakapagsalita eh. I took it as a message. Ang sabi ko, this must be a message. People stood their ground while they were there watching us and waiting for me to speak. Sabi ko, sa mga teammates ko let's go down. Basang-basa ng mga tao. Bata, matanda, everybody. They were all wet at the time and the water was already knee-deep, no? At the time. So we went down. In the midst of the people, they were shouting, Batawil, Batawil, Batawil. Sabi ko, let's go home, kako. Uwi na po kayo pagka magkasakit pa kayo. Hindi na po tayo matutuloy ang kampanya nito. Why? Because natumpa na yung tolda. Wala pa nun ang civic center. Natumbang tolda, nabasa yung amplifier. So, wala talaga magagamit. But the people stood their ground. They wanted me to speak. Ang sabi ko, I know and I hear what you want for our town, beloved town. When I went back to the stage. So, somebody whispered into my ears. Sabi niya, Mayor Paul, sabi niya, hindi pa ako mayor pa. Ako, kampanya pa lang. Hindi, mayor ka na. Look at the people. Sabi niya gano'n.
They stayed.
They stayed. Sabi niya, that is a manifestation of trust and confidence that you will be the next mayor of this town, sabi sa akin. When you become the mayor, sabi niya gano'n, construct a covered court for the people. Exactly, that was what the people wanted. A civic center, which I call it civic center up to this date, no, erected during my first term. During my first year pa eh. Kasi immediately after no campaign period, when I got elected, I looked for ways and means on how to erect it, no? And on December of 2019, nagamit na yan.
Same year.
Kagad, on that same year, when I won, nagamit na as a pageant area for Miss Lingayen.
Yes.
2019.
Yes.
Prior
2020. 2020 kasi
2020
Lingayen
fiesta.
ang fiesta is in the 2020 January.
January.
Oh. So, yung pageant noong 2019 of December is intended for the town fiesta. So, nagamit na ng pageantry.
3 months of construction.
Oh.
September to December.
September
To December.
9, if I'm not mistaken, nung mag-groundbreaking kami, tinapos na natin yan. It was attended by a previous Congressman Jumel Espino, who replaced me at the time. And so, the rest is history. We have a civic center, we have a beautiful plaza, we have a banana museum. Ang sabi ni Senator
Romulo.
Lapid,
Lapid.
how's your museum, Mayor Paul? Sabi ko, it is still there. And thank you for your support, Kapo. Why? Because when Mark Lapid was the Chelsea manager, in-approach ko yan. Nung congressman ko, talagang hindi ko tinitigilan mga yan. Ganon ako kasi pag-ulpas sa buhay na, what something, I pursue it. Relentlessly. Nakikiusap ako sa National Historical Commission. The executive director then was Director Ludovico Badoy. Inaaraw-araw ko yan. Incidentally, Director Ludovico Badoy was the mayor of Cotabato City, where I was his chief of police some time ago. So, somehow we had
Familiarity.
and working relationship. And then, iniskortan pa niya ako sa office ni Lito Lapid. Oh, sa National Historical Commission, sa kanya. So, naparestore natin ang Casa Real. It was called initially as Casa Real. Why Casa Real? Do you know that it was an image of neglect in the past? In 2010, 11, 12, it was a showcase of neglect. Why? Because for a long time, it had been a ruin. Dinaanan ng bagyo yan eh. I don't know if you can still recall.
Heavily damaged. No.
Heavily damaged ng bagyo.
Bagyo. May of 2008.
Bagyong Kong. Hindi.
2008, sir.
Undoy. Sorry.
Not Undoy, pero it's a strong typhoon.
Strong typhoon.
In
And from there on, hindi na nakaba.
May 17, 2008. But I forgot the name of the typhoon.
So, I made it as a some kind of volition that I should restore it because it is the pride of not only Lingayen, the pride of Pangasinan. Why? Because it was the first provincial capital, Pangasinan. Casa Real.
During Spanish time.
During Spanish time. So, sabi ko, showcase of neglect itong Casa Real na ito. I should look for ways and means on how to restore it. And luckily, Director Badoy of the National Historical Commission, Mark Lapid, General Manager of CHESA, and then I was then a first-term congressman. I was, inaaraw-araw ko mga yan, sabi ko, do not forget din ganyan, that provincial capital called Kasarian, the first provincial capital of Pangasinan.
Your second term, you were outstanding, sir.
Somehow, no?
Oh.
And, syempre, I was, equipped with historical facts. I knew that they restored this and that before the Kasarian. Sabi ko, you have restored this and that and that. Therefore, you also restore Lingayen Kasarian, the first provincial capital of Pangasinan. First trans, nakapo tayo, but they need a counterpart fund from the provincial capital government.
By them,
By
initially.
then, so we were able to request for a provincial fund. And the rest is history. It is now called Banaan Museum. What is Banaan in local parlance?
Meeting place.
Tagpuan.
Tagpuan. It is a meeting place. Rightfully so because they restored it into what it is today. Ang ganda.
Yes.
It is a pride of Pangasinan. It is actually a depiction of history.
Culture and history.
From long ago to the Chinese, to the Japanese, to the Americans, to the Spaniards, and to this day. Ganda. So I'm proud of what it is today. But let it be said that I have contributed to its well-being as a museum, as a former provincial capital.
Something, sir, the provincial government seem to have forgotten your effort.
That's not coming from me. It was mentioned by the good governor that I have a contribution to that sometime last campaign period 2025 this year. So thank you for recognizing.
With that glimpse of your journey, Mr. Mayor, I can say that it is composed of a roller coaster of emotion. And as you can see, Mr. Mayor seems he is really into serving the people, despite the challenges, even his family telling him to stop. But his willingness and desire to serve the people was truly inspiring, and that what makes him unique. The way he listens to the voices of the people, and that's what makes him unique. He embodied the true spirit of being a public servant. He served by the people, for the people, and
All the people.
all the people.
And, the fact that the people insisted on staying in his
Yes.
campaign despite the heavy rain shows that they trust him. And look what the Lingayen is up to now.
Yes.
It improved a lot like it was before, diba?
And as you mentioned earlier, the overwhelming votes and your one time wherein he ran that he is unopposed, that shows an unwavering support from the people. Makikita po talaga natin na sila po ay pinagkakatiwalaan ng mga tao.
But if I may add, as years go by, a certain culture among our people, among our electorates, evolve into something advantageous or something disadvantageous to us leaders, For example, during the pandemic, do you know that I governed during the times of COVID, during pandemic time?
Lockdown.
Oh, and those who were in position were somehow affected. Why? Because we were compliant. We were obedient to the orders of the central government, to the World Health Organization. What was the order of the World Health Organization? Stay home.
Lockdown.
So we implemented that order. Stay home, stay home, stay home. But the people wanted something more. If you order them to stay home, then you want at least support. Kaya almost
5 times.
Maraming mga nakaupo na mga leaders lost their positions. But even during those difficult times, we still managed to stay in position for the second term.
About,
On this term,
about the 5 times of distribution of rice, sir.
oh yeah, if I may mention it, no? If I may mention it, during the pandemic, no? Do you know that? No, nanunutan ko may, as I speak in our vernacular kasi, umbaga sumagot no nanunutan ko may, the reason behind why we have to construct the civic center sa plaza. On hindsight, I believe that somebody up there knows that something big is going to happen. Somebody up there guided me, guided us, Lingayen, to prepare for that something big to happen. I didn't know that there is a greater, bigger purpose in the construction of that civic center.
Stockpiling of rice.
Only to find out that it became the stockpiling of rice whereby our LGU bought sacks of rice in Pangasinan, naubusan ng bigas ang Pangasinan.
Nueva Ecija.
We went to as far as Nueva Ecija and Bulacan. And nag-stockpile kami dyan sa civic center na yan. And then we organized people to repack, you know. And then the youth, the SK, volunteered. They volunteered
The
to
barangays were all
be the one to distribute, especially to the senior citizens. Sila ang nag-volunteer. Sabi ko, wow, this is an architecture na nagtutulungan with the youth at the forefront, with the senior citizens ordered to stay home, with the civic center serving as the stockpiling of many bags of rice and other supplies, and even vaccination. Doon.
So it's like this project foreshadows its future purposes.
It serves its purpose, its noble purpose, which human beings cannot readily comprehend. Somebody out there was able to comprehend that something big is going to happen. Therefore, you must prepare.
Mr. Mayor, despite being one of the town's most accomplished politicians and having proven yourself time and again, no matter how diligent you try your best, there will always be people who will remain opposed to you. How did you handle the criticisms and love from others?
Yes. We cannot discount that fact.
Yes po.
That you cannot win them
It's
all.
natural.
Naturally, yeah.
Yes po.
I have accepted the fact that in any organization, in any unit, in any agency, you cannot perfect it. There will always be some dissenting opinion, and that's what democracy is all about.
Yes.
No? But the good news is, continue doing what is right. Continue making the people understand. If not all of them, at least majority of them will know that we are doing the right thing. For the record, do you know that we were SGLG awardee? Seal of Good Local Governance consistently in all of the annual awards, the memorable awards, so to speak, no? As had been said by the DILG. No? Why? Because they look on your readiness during disaster,
Yes.
your upkeep, yung financial upkeep, whether it's transparent and accountable, whether you are responding to the need of the people, and whether your LDRRM or your local disaster risk reduction management can respond to any situation during disasters and many other categories. So,
What did you acquire, sir, for the
That's right, that's right.
LDRRMO?
exactly. And so, having said that, I saw that there is a need for all of the barangays, 32 barangays in all, in Lingayen, to have a brand new rescue vehicle.
Mhm.
Why? Because when I was not yet your mayor, nakita ko na yung buntis lang mga anak, sasakay sa tricycle, sasakay sa garong,
Yes.
or rented whatever vehicle, no? Or borrowed from the neighborhood. Sa Tumpar, for example,
Yes.
hihiram sila ng sasakyan para lang may biyahe yung may sakit, o buntis, nabalian, na-aksidente, whatever, no? And so, sabi ko, there is a need for me as the mayor to procure 32 brand new rescue vehicles. Some of my political advisors would say, huwag mo bigyan yan, parang ganyan, kasi natalo ka dyan. Sabi ko, no.
Very Filipino mo Filipino.
Let the people benefit from their own money.
Yes po.
That is the people's money. So the 32 brand new rescue vehicles, it is distribute ko yan, isa-isa.
Each.
Sa kanila. Walang iniwanan. And then I procure more vehicles for the capacitation of our LDRRMO and heavy equipment as well. And mayroon pa kaming drone. Why? Because we were saddled with some intermittent cases of drowning. Yan, sa beautiful beach natin, historic beach natin, may drowning din yan. So, I saw that our LDRRMO, which is at the forefront, should be able to at least respond or patrol the area. Patrol the area and remind people, especially those who are fond of drinking and swimming at the same time. And kinadetermine ko yung mga no swimming areas. Why? Because there is whirlpool in that area. This turbulent, there is undercurrent. So, nalagyan ko yan ng no swimming. There are safe areas where they can swim for the children and for the adults. But strictly, no drinking.
Yes.
Pero, matigas ang ulo ng mga kababayan at mga bisita.
Yes.
Some of those who are drunk are visitors.
Yes.
So to say.
So, building on your perspective, it's clear that leadership plays a crucial role. Now, what values do you think all leaders should uphold regardless of political affiliation?
Regardless of political affiliation, I can cite a specific example that in spite of our good governance outlook in life and also in the government, in the public service, some are not totally convinced. They prefer something, material. Let us call a spade a spade. They prefer something material, which I cannot provide. Because I wanted a public servant who will win because the people trusted him. He has the capability and he has the will to serve, not because of money. I don't want to win an electoral process where people will say, oy, nanalo yan kasi
Malaking binigay.
malaking binigay, malaking yung namili ng boto. I don't want to evolve as such. But, my campaigners, hindi ko sila pinabayaan. Of course, I also have some funds to support my own campaigners. And I have campaigners in all of the barangays, all of the towns. 8 towns of second district. The bigger towns, nag-organize ako ng mas malalaking teams. In Lingayen, it's a big town, so 3 teams yan. Mga Tarang, 2 teams. Binmalay, 2 teams. The others, take isang team. Kaya na yan, 45 days eh. In 45-day period, that team can already do house to house and campaign, and the people know, In Lingayen, for example, because it's a big town, we divide Buea into three. First, Central District, Western District, and Southern District. I had one campaign team per district, and each team is composed of something like eight members. May driver, mayroong assistant driver, at saka taga-operate ng jingle ko noong araw. The rest, six of them, taga-house-house yan. Ang tsatsaga nila. Hindi ko sila pinabayaan. I recognize their effort, their will to campaign, at hindi ko sila pinabayaan. For 45 days. So, somehow, yun ang aking capability in all of the district. But sad to say, no, I did not make it for whatever reason the people would know. And it should not come from me because I don't like to sound like I'm sounding great. I understand.
Yes,
Yes,
po.
sir.
The most important thing is that we try.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, we've covered a lot of ground already. I think this is a good moment for us to take a quick breath. Perhaps grab a sip of water if you like before we proceed.
And many things more to share.
Yes.
But
We will continue.
given the limited time, I wanted to impart that even during my first term as your mayor, and even when I was a congressman, I engaged already in the youth program. Why? Because I'm not going to be your mayor forever. I am not going to be your councilor or your congressman or your servant leader forever. Somehow, in time, in due time, we may vanish from this earth. But I want that our town, our district, our province will be governed by responsible leaders who will come from you, from the youth. So, what did I do? I trained people deserving of the trust and confidence who would be able to impart their knowledge, their will to serve, and the heart of a Filipino. Important yun, no? The youth who are capable of listening to the people's voice. The youth who are capable of imparting what is right
Yes.
and who are capable of dissuading people from doing what is wrong.
So for our last question, sir, as we conclude this conversation lang po, your insights will undoubtedly resonate with many. For those who aspire to leadership roles, voters seeking informed perspectives, and the general public watching this vlog, what is your final message po?
Okay. I realize that there is a certain culture that evolves year after year, no, term after term. And that culture, I hope and pray that it will go back to where it once belonged. What is it all about? Times when our public servants, our leaders, are elected because of the firm resolve to serve the people with goodness in their heart, with righteousness, that they are the blessed ones, no? And uh, the virtues of listening, the virtues of uh, participative democracy and conservative leadership.
Mr. Mayor, based on the experiences or journey that you've provided, nasabi niyo po na very challenging na talaga rito, no? But in good governance kasi po, we keep on striving for good governance. Before we officially end po, we'd love to dive deeper into your vision for effective leadership po. What does it mean to you? What does good governance mean to you? And when we are talking about the responsible and effective management of resources, policies by the government itself.
That's right. Actually, uh, I would have wanted that actually the systems are already in place. And these are uh, governed by various laws, rules, regulations, policies, and the constitution as a whole. No, so we cannot go wrong if we will abide by all these uh, legal references. No, and somewhere in time, if you go wayward, there is a mechanism which will bring you back online. Yes. But uh, consistently, if you must, as a servant leader, you must be able to circumnavigate your actions, your thoughts, your words within the bounds of law. Number one, you should be compliant with the rule of law.
Yes.
And number two, you should look at the welfare of the people and the community as a whole, which will redound to the stability of the nation. Redound to the stability of the nation. So to me, that is very important. It's not a perfect world then. There are pros and cons, uh, advantages, disadvantages. So therefore, we must learn to live with it in that imperfect world.
Yes.
That's it.
So,
Given the complexities of governance naman po, we have these so-called political dynasties po that often perpetuate patronage, spoil system, and nepotism. What are your thoughts about this?
I don't like it.
Yes,
I don't like
we all
dynasty.
don't like it.
In fact, I was
like it po.
when I was a third termer congressman, some people were encouraging my family, anyone among my family members, my wife in particular, just like what others did, to run as for my substitute. No? To run as my substitute. Kasi third termer, ano post ako eh. But I don't like it. I wanted the people's will to prevail, not because of machinations. And on that note, my advice is let or respect the people's will. When your term is up, let it go.
Yes,
Let
let
it be.
it go.
Why? Because you do
Move
not
on.
you do not have the monopoly of expertise.
Yes.
These people are perhaps much better than you.
Yes.
Di ba? Yes. So, my wife doesn't like it. The truth. She refused it. She reads my mind. And on that note, I believe that having been married for many, many years to this day, it works wonders. And together, we are guided by someone up there. No? In whatever we do, we pray. Yes. Whatever we do, we pray so that all our actions, our utterances will be in accordance with the will of God.
Very well said, Mr. Mayor. You know, it's really hard to promote equality and transparency in governance when political dynasties is rampant. That's very well said po. Now that you are no longer holding any position, it's natural to wonder what's next. Do you still have plans to serve the community in other ways? If yes, how po?
Yes, yes. In whatever way, as you said.
Yes.
So, in my own capacity, even if I am an ordinary citizen, ordinary constituent, I can help.
We can take care.
Why? How? Do you know that my second love is farming, greening, environmental development, agriculture. Agriculture. In fact, I've been encouraging time and again Mr. Melvin to plant whatever he can plant. His love is on writing and writing and writing. No? So, that can follow during your free time. And likewise, you please, no? I would encourage you to go to whatever way you can give help for the development of this town. First, you graduate first. Mag-graduate muna kayo.
Sure na, sure.
Continue learning, continue asking.
Yes.
No? As I've said, we do not have the monopoly of knowledge. We do not have the monopoly of expertise. Out there is a vast resource
Yes.
of bright people who are also blessed.
Yes. Give them chance.
Give them chance. That's the key word.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, for sharing your time and experiences with us. Your thoughts on leadership and public service were truly inspiring. And to everyone watching, thank you for being with us. Once again, we are with our honorable former Mayor, Leopoldo and Batawi. Until next time, thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless everyone.
Okay. As we conclude this video,
We've learned that leadership is not just about leading.
but it is also about being able to empathize
Listen,
and learn from the people.
it's all about promoting not just equality,
But equity.